Hello everyone and welcome to the 5th episode of the Ultimate AFL show for season 2016. A very exciting episode this episode because, well, we are going to be talking about the NAB Challenge for 2016 for the last time. It's so exciting because that means season 2016, the season proper, is right around the corner. Now in this episode I'm going to wrap up the final round of the NAB Challenge, which was this past weekend, and I'm also going to give you the final standings for this year's NAB Challenge. So let's not waste any time, let's get straight into looking at the final round of the NAB Challenge. It all started on Thursday night at Etihad Stadium, Melbourne's second home of footy, and it was between Richmond and Port Adelaide, two teams who faced off in an elimination final a couple of years ago at Adelaide Oval. And well, it was a pretty sad game for Richmond, I must say, because of the injuries, but Port Adelaide did have a very good game because they won the game. Let's just go through the injuries for Richmond first, because this was a big injury game for Richmond. They lost about 4 players in this game. I'll go through them. Edwards with a shoulder, Grigg with a thumb, Conker with a hamstring, and Townsend with a concussion, a massive concussion, I should add. So, wasn't very good for Richmond, and well, they did lose the game, the final score being 1-4-12-45 to Port Adelaide, 0-13-15, 93. Deledio scored the only super goal, and well, the Richmond goal kickers, Riewoldt kicked 2 as well as Vickery, and the Port Adelaide goal kickers, Gray, Schultz and Wingard kicked 2 each, while Ouchie, Broadbent, Dixon, who played in his first game for Port Adelaide, Gray, Neild, Westhoff and White all scored singles for Port Adelaide. So a bit of a concern for Richmond because they did lose some very important players, but they still have Deledio, Cochin, Riewoldt, Vickery, players like that they still have, so they might just be okay. Friday night there was a double header which started at Etihad Stadium between Carlton and the Sydney Swans. I was there at this game on Friday night as I was in Melbourne for the weekend. It was an interesting game. It was interesting to see both the two sides and how they're performing in the pre-season. Carlton, you know, they were making some silly mistakes, and that's probably what let them down in the end. They came back in the third quarter, but silly mistakes just really cost them throughout the game. And Sydney, well, kind of the same a little bit actually. They were, doing some silly mistakes, but Lance Franklin, he is back to his best. He was, every time he was in space, they just kicked it to him, and he was able to mark it and bang through a goal. It was fantastic stuff from Lance Franklin, and that's what we're used to from the big man Buddy. So the final score ended up Carlton 1-8-12-69, defeated by Sydney Swans 0-14-7, 91. There was only one super goal late in the game that went to Carlton's Tui, and the goal kickers, Kerridge got 3 for Carlton. He actually proved to be a very good player in this game, a very good pickup for them as well, coming across from Adelaide. Curnow, Graham, Boakhorst, Cripps and Buckley all got singles for Carlton, while Franklin kicked 3, Parker kicked 2, Heaney, Rose, Hanelbury, Pabley, Hewitt, Lloyd, Mitchell, Mills and Cunningham all got singles for the Swans. One other thing I should mention as well, has been in the news lately since Friday night's game at Etihad Stadium, is Dale Thomas. He is in all sorts of trouble at the moment, I must say. His kicking was terrible, and just that shot he had, I think it was at 3/4 time, or on the siren at 3/4 time, he didn't need to do a torp. He could have done a drop punt and possibly got it, but well, with his kicking he probably wouldn't have, because his kicking has just been terrible. He's in all sorts of trouble at the moment. He's probably on his way to get delisting at the end of the season if he doesn't perform, because I tell you what, they pay good money for him and he just doesn't perform. The next game was between Gold Coast and Adelaide on Friday night at Metricon Stadium. The Gold Coast unfortunately lost this game 0-11, 18, 84 to Adelaide, 3-12, 10, 109. Not a bad performance by Adelaide. The goal kickers, the super goal kickers, Adelaide got 3 super goals in this game, Jenkins, Lyons and Walker. And the goal kickers for Gold Coast, Hall got 2, while Ouchie, Riscatelli, Miller, McKenzie, Martin, Lynch, Keebrew, Harbrow and Davis all got singles for the Gold Coast Suns, while Adelaide, Malira and Walker and McGovern got 2 each, while Gore, Jenkins, Ellis Yeoman, Seedsman, Lyons and Douglas all got singles for the Crows. Saturday there was 3 games, and it started with Collingwood and the Western Bulldogs at Etihad Stadium. At half-time the Dogs were up by a very good margin, 197 to Collingwood 054. But Collingwood were able to come back and in the end win by 2 points, the final score being 115-8, 107 to the Dogs, 114-12, 105. As a Dog supporter, I was a bit disappointed that they lost this game, considering the margin that they were in front by. But it is only a pre-season game, but still it wasn't very good, and they did the same against Melbourne in their last pre-season game. And I was watching the last 10 minutes of this game at Flemington. I was at Flemington on Saturday, and Stringer missed this absolute blunder of a goal due to a fantastic tackle by Collingwood. So they probably could have won the game if Stringer got that goal. He was running into an open goal, by the way. But anyway, the super goals, Collingwood got 1 for Solo. The Dogs also got 1 super goal in Matthew Suckling. And then the goal kickers for Collingwood, Moore got 4, Varco, Galt and Cloak. And Trelaw got 2, while for Solo, Blair and Crisp got singles each. For the Dogs, Boyd had a good day. He got 3, as well as Wallace. Hunter got 2, and then Stringer, Redpath, Campbell, Bontempelli, McLean and Stevens all get singles. Just for all you guys who are questioning our recruitment of Tom Boyd, he will be a really good player in the future, and this year I reckon is his year where he's going to shine. It's probably going to be a bit like Stringer. You know, Stringer had that year where he shined really well, and then, you know, he just started to improve from there. I reckon Boyd's the same. So give him a bit of time, but I reckon this year is his year. The next game was Fremantle and Geelong. Fremantle won this game in the end, 2-9-11, 83 to Geelong, 0-10-11, 71. Geelong only being able to get the 1 win in this year's NAB Challenge. Denley, Pearce and Weller all got the super goals for Fremantle, while the Fremantle goal kickers, Ballantyne, Taberner and Main got 2, while Walters, Burnell and Neal got singles. Burnell debuting for Fremantle in this game, while Geelong, McCarthy got 3, Dangerfield got 2, Gregson, Duncan, Guthrie, Varty and Kirsten got singles for Geelong. Hawthorn and North Melbourne rounded out Saturday with the final score being 2-16-11, 125. That's Hawthorn's score to North Melbourne, 0-12-8, 80. Dre and Shoemakers all got the super goals for Hawthorn, while the goal kickers for Hawthorn, Bruce got 4, Singley, Gunston, Segler got 2, while Hodge, Halopolo, Hartung, Rioli, Hardwick and McAvoy got singles for the Hawks, while North Melbourne's Petrie got 3. He's had a good pre-season, Petrie, actually. Got 4 in his first game. I think he got 3 in his last NAB Challenge game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he did get 3 or somewhere abouts. Got another 3 in this game. He'll be a crucial player for North Melbourne, like he has been in the past. Thomas, Zeeble, Gardner, Brown, Cunnington, Del Santo, Wright, Goldstein and Wells all got singles for North Melbourne. But North Melbourne did lose that game, and Hawks won pretty comfortably in the end. Sunday started with a game at Metricon between the Brisbane Lions and the Greater Western Sydney Giants, the final score being Brisbane 2-9-11, 83 to Greater Western Sydney 1-17-11, 122. I reckon they're going to be there right up, challenging for the top 8 this year. They seem like a very good side. The Brisbane Lions super goal kickers, Andrew and Rich, got 1 between them, while Munford got 1 for the Greater Western Sydney Giants. And the Brisbane Lion goal kickers, Lester and Bell, got 2 each, while Walker, Taylor, Schrade, Robertson and Coulter got singles each, while Cameron got 4. He had a good day. Johnson got 3. Smith got 2. Lobb, Palmer, Thomason, Whitfield, Ward, Steele, Scully and Griffin all got singles for the Greater Western Sydney Giants. Just on Jeremy Cameron, he did get a month suspension, so a 4-week suspension after rough play in the third quarter. So very bad news there for GWS. Hopefully they can cover him because he's an important player for their side. Melbourne have completed their pre-season being undefeated, the final score being 114-14, 107, defeating St Kilda 0-12-11, 83 at Etihad Stadium. Salem got the only super goal of the game for Melbourne, while Garland got 3 for Melbourne. Watts, Oliver, Kent, Hogan got 2 each, while Kennedy, Pedersen and Bug got singles for Melbourne. St Kilda, Billings got 3, Bruce got 2, Armitage, Montagna, Hickey, Stephen, Newmans, Weller and Dunstan got singles each for St Kilda. The final game of the NAB Challenge for 2016 was always going to be a tough one for Essendon, and it proved that way. West Coast winning 123-11, 158 to Essendon 0-7-11, 53 at Domain Stadium in Perth. Yeo got the only super goal of the match for West Coast, while the goal kickers, Darling got 3 as well as Hill and McGovern. Kennedy got 3 as well, Lacraz got 2 as well as Gaff, and Pritis, Lisette, Shuey, Yeo, Nelson, Cabany and Duggan got singles each for West Coast, while Grimley, Jamar, McKern, Cooney and Danaher got singles for the Bombers. So that rounds out the NAB Challenge for 2016. Let's get in now to the final standings. Who finished on top of the table after the NAB Challenge of 2016? So just like last year's AFL season, Fremantle have finished top of the table in this year's NAB Challenge on first place with 12 points with a percentage of 144.05%, so bigger than Melbourne and Collingwood's percentage. So well done to them. They are, I guess, premiers of the NAB Challenge for 2016. Melbourne finished on second, undefeated, as well as Collingwood on third. The Adelaide Crows round out the top 4. GWS did well as the Sydney Swans. West Coast did well to get where they got, considering they were on the bottom of the ladder and were basically had a very poor percentage at the end of week 1 of the NAB Challenge. Of course, that smashing by Adelaide. Hawthorn round out the top 8. You can see there Carlton have got the wooden spoon for the NAB Challenge for 2016, just like they did last year in the season proper. Brisbane Lions and St Kilda missed that game in week 3 of the NAB Challenge, game 18, due to it being washed out, so their percentage hasn't been impacted, but of course they did get 2 points from that game. So that's the ladder for NAB Challenge 2016. And that concludes this episode of the Ultimate AFL Show. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to stay tuned for next Wednesday's episode, because it is going to be a massive episode. In next week's episode, I'm going to give you my final ladder predictions for season 2016, as well as looking towards round 1 of the season proper. It gets so interesting now. It gets even more exciting. Now that the NAB Challenge is gone, now that the pre-season is over, we are into the real stuff. And like I said a couple of episodes ago, once the season starts, this show heats up dramatically. So do subscribe to get an episode in your newsfeed every Wednesday. So until next Wednesday's massive edition of the Ultimate AFL Show, I'm Jacob. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.